Hi everyone, I'm Ken from CryptoTradingKS and the inventor of the CTKS method that reveals smart money buy and sell levels, and BORSOG trading, which helps to get you in sync with the markets. If you're new, a very warm welcome and welcome back KS family. From my 30 plus years in financial markets, I explain the smart money mindset to assist you to be more of a financial blessing to yourself and those you love, gaining real wealth and positive excellence in the process. If you would like daily updates on price movements in the crypto market as well as the stock market, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, please subscribe to YouTube. I've left helpful links in the description of this video, such as the tax software I use and the CryptoTradingKS Masterclass. Please seek out a CTKS ambassador to get 80% off, and you can also apply for the partial Masterclass scholarship. The links are in the description. Thank you to our moderators for keeping our community safe from scammers, and please note I don't have WhatsApp or Telegram. Let's run the numbers. Bitcoin is currently down 1.95% to 19,574. Ethereum is down 1.84% to 1333. As crypto technical analysts, we scientifically track investor attention. And whilst we know that we cannot control the return from the market, we can definitely control our buy and sell positions. That's why we do our BORSOG code. We make an estimate as part of our three-dimensional thinking and daily risk management. Will the market go up, down, or flat? What is the percentage probability of things moving against us, going nowhere, or going for us? And how synchronized in with the market do we feel? I have so much appreciation and gratitude for our beloved global family. Each and every day we show up and do the hard work. And why do we put in the hard work? Because that's the only thing that is rewarded by the markets. The more active learning, the more responsibility we take, the more the market rewards us because we know what we're doing. Financial markets are complex systems. A lot of people would think strong job growth is a really good thing. But actually, at the current time, it's a sign of an overheating economy. We saw average hourly earnings coming in as expected, but non-farm employment change actually greater than anticipated, and the market has been pretty hot for the employment sector. Just combined with that, the unemployment rate actually went down, and the Fed looks at both of these things and says, ouch, we've got to raise rates. With 26 days to go to the next FOMC meeting, we're currently seeing a 79.6% probability that there'll be a 75 basis point increase. A lot of the market was anticipating a Fed pivot, that is, to just decrease the rate of federal funds rate increases. We're not seeing this at all. We're seeing the exact opposite. Strong employment numbers, low unemployment rates, and now oil increasing because of OPEC Plus's cut in output. These are all driving inflationary pressures. And there's a lot of geopolitical uncertainty about the war between Russia and Ukraine. And next week, more economic data comes out, the PPI comes out, and the CPI comes out. We know that Bitcoin cannot escape the stock market's gravity. And one thing that we've been paying a lot of attention to recently is the federal funds rate prediction of April 2023. You can see it's overcome multiple levels of resistance. It now has multiple levels of support, and it's currently coming in at 4.655%. We can see, even though we had a weakening of the uptrend in US government yields, those yields still continue to come up. And this is causing a lot of pressure on the major indices and also on Bitcoin. When we look at the S&P 500 and the 9 sell-offs and recoveries since 1966, married to the current price, what we actually see is a rejection of this resistance. The sellers have come in and whacked the markets around. As crypto technical analysts, we use Rule 252, prepared and not scared. We're prepared for negative momentum and prepared to take advantage of it as well. We can see that the US dollar currency index broke above its resistance at that 112.251 mark. It's also made its way above that smart money resistance level and is seeking to turn it into support at 112.731. We can see that the DXY overcame resistance and has quite good upward support at the present time. The rally in the DXY caused Bitcoin to violate its upward support line. And admittedly, that's a tight one. There is a secondary one. By zooming in on Bitcoin's price action, you can see this bottom channel of immediate support playing in around the 19,273 mark. We're getting closer and closer to the Armageddon line. It doesn't mean we're going to violate it. We're still in a weakening uptrend, but the key is we have to get over this resistance level, which will come into play at around 20,800. So just keep that in mind. Bitcoin is currently trading at 19,572. We're currently about 6.57% away from taking out that resistance. When we look at the Stanfield levels on Bitcoin, and these are the structural support and resistance levels that are formed through confluence of the CTKS method, we can see that we drop from that 19,993 mark all the way down to the next level at 19,570. Because it was a large drop and it had a lot of momentum, it needed to go a little bit further, and it got caught at 19,427 and 91 cents. And then we've seen price come back up to test that resistance line, hopefully to get above it. But we can see that Bitcoin is under resistance at the moment. Looking at the longs and the shorts can be very helpful. We've seen the shorts actually weakening, but they certainly did a good job of liquidating the longs in the past 12 to 24 hours. But we've seen the longs start to liquidate the shorts now. Let's check out liquidations. Over the past 24 hours, there's been 82.48 million in liquidations across 23,862 positions. This is really quite low in terms of liquidations and also in terms of volume. When we look at total liquidations across the past 24 hours, about 77% long. Across the past 12 hours, about 79% of total liquidations were long liquidations. Across the past 4 hours, we're seeing a change, nearly 68% short liquidations, and across the last hour, increasing short liquidations, say around 78%. But when we look at the overall, we can see more longs were liquidated than shorts. Crypto technical analysts understand that the main markets and crypto are tightly intercorrelated and interconnected. And what we can see, the fear gauge of the market was kicking up in the last trading session. That brought the major indices, for example, the NASDAQ, underneath its resistance line. We saw bond prices continue to sell down and bond yields continue to rise. Gold was hit as the dollar came up, and oil has been on a rampage because of the OPEC plus cuts. And we can see junk bonds weakening in terms of their trend. There's so many dimensions to look at when you're a crypto technical analyst. The first thing we do is to mark up our charts with the CTKS method. Then we look beyond the charts, look beyond Bitcoin and your beloved alts into the main market. And when people don't do this, they're consistently caught on the wrong foot. Or you might say, caught off guard. Then we look back into the crypto market, understanding opportunities reset daily. But before we buy or sell, we must master fear. Fear is a very, very harsh decision maker. It will always make you act in your own worst interests. You will buy when you should sell and sell when you should buy. Now we've got a positional understanding on Bitcoin. We understand Rule 45. Your beloved alt cannot escape Bitcoin's gravity. First, for some interesting crypto news. Breaking: Visa to offer crypto cards in 40 countries. Visa is teaming up with FTX. These cards will be offered as debit cards in 40 countries, focusing on Latin America, Asia, and Europe. Cards are currently available in the US, tied to FTX accounts. Something really interesting here. With news like this, FTT, which is kind of like the BNB equivalent of the FTX exchange, could see very good price appreciation. This is something just to keep your eye on. I don't recommend any particular crypto, but we're just looking at the news. Citigroup becomes the latest institution to make moves into crypto. Citigroup has finally put its toe in the crypto waters by leading a funding round in a Hong Kong-based asset management company. It's a $6 million funding round. CZ is going for it again. Binance boss ready to spend $1 billion on acquisitions. Binance has already shelled out $325 million in acquisitions in 2022. That's a 100% increase over the past year. Binance so far has invested in 67 projects this year. A lot of people think that NFTs or non-fungible tokens are just things, pictures with apes on them. Actually, CZ has a different mentality. He explains that NFT technology could be used for issuing university diplomas, offering concert tickets, and so on. Pretty cool stuff. CZ is interested in investing in gaming companies and in e-commerce. Just in, India's central bank outlines digital rupee CBDC plans central bank digital currency. Colorado is accepting crypto for tax payments. Whilst Binance is expanding, Crypto.com downsizes some sports partnership deals. Crypto.com, don't worry, Binance will step in and finance those things. A couple of days ago, a news report came out that MENA emerges as the world's fastest growing crypto adopter. So what is Binance doing? It's seeking to boost Web3 adoption in the MENA region. And you say, Ken, what's the MENA region? It's the Middle East and Northern Africa regions. In other news, Mt. Gox trustee sets registration deadline of January the 10th for repayment selection. Bitcoin's gravity is very important to understand on your beloved alts. We can see that Ethereum is just converging with Bitcoin's gravity. Binance Coin was a little bit under yesterday. I'll go through the reasons for that, but it's now consolidating around or coming back into alignment with Bitcoin's gravity. ADA is significantly under Bitcoin's gravity, but the weak can become strong, so just be aware of that. XRP is rallying at the moment. Good on you, XRP. Solana into alignment with Bitcoin's gravity. Doge slightly under Bitcoin's gravity. DOT and ADA have been quite weak for a good several months. Eventually, this gravity is self-correcting, and we can see Matic doing really well in terms of underestimating, if you like, or under accepting the negative price potential of Bitcoin. It's saying, okay, Bitcoin's going down by 5%. I'm going to go down by 1%. For example, something interesting with Ethereum. Fidelity launches Ethereum index funds, sees clients' demand for exposure to digital assets beyond Bitcoin. What happened yesterday with BNB? We saw a sharp downturn that was actually quickly met by buyers because there was a Binance Smart Chain hack. When you look through the news, you'll see so many different figures. $100 million hack, or you may see $566 million hack. So what actually happened? A hacker got in and minted 566 million, but only about 100 million made it off the Binance Smart Chain. The rest of that newly minted BNB is still on chain and it's reversed or frozen. The hack basically took a software bug and made Binance pay for it. and it was an exploit on a cross-chain bridge, Binance Smart Chain Token Hub, that resulted in that extra minting of BNB. The attackers literally created 2 million BNB tokens from the Binance bridge, taking advantage of a software bug that compromised Binance Bridge's verified proofs. The hacker managed to forge a proof for a specific block. But Binance moved incredibly quickly. Only 80 million of the stolen funds were transferred off-chain. And if you look at the resiliency of BNB despite this hack, it's very, very powerful. In other news, Cardano now offers a new kind of lending and borrowing, already live on testnet. And a leading Cardano DEX just performed a major upgrade, and that is Muesli Swap. The exchange was initially based on the simple order book model, but now the exchange has added liquidity pools. In other news, Matic has now been added to part of Grayscale's large cap fund as part of its quarterly rebalancing. The $193 million fund has 65.12% in Bitcoin, Ethereum 28.25%, ADA 2.49%, and good old Matic, which is Polygon, 1.25%, but that could increase. Something of note, Bitcoin Cash, Litecoin, and Chainlink were all removed. In January, XRP was removed following the US Securities Exchange Commission's lawsuit against Ripple. You can imagine what happens to XRP if it wins that court case, and it's already spent $100 million on legal defenses. With that, let's have a look through some more beloved alts. We can see SHIB is under Bitcoin's gravity, but still moving in accordance with it. We can see Tron very much outpacing the strength of Bitcoin at the moment. AVAX under Bitcoin's gravity. Uni above Bitcoin's gravity, but still moving in directional alignment with it. Litecoin weaker. Link much weaker. Atom much weaker, unfortunately again. But remember, the weak actually become reconsidered with Bitcoin's gravity. They will shoot up, and we see that all the time. And look at FTT. It put in a big spike, and that was before the jobs report, and we know what happened with that, and it drove the dollar up and therefore crypto down. But we can see that FTT on the particular Visa news could be very, very interesting. We'll keep our eye on it. In other news, Lido launches Layer 2 Ethereum staking and Lido rewards. MakerDAO goes ahead with a $500 million investment in treasuries and bonds. They're seeking to currently collateralize the DAI stablecoin. And turning to some community favorites, and please note, I don't endorse or suggest you get into any specific crypto. Always do your own research. The entire purpose of the CTKS Masterclass is to transfer knowledge and be your own financial advisor. Chiliz is very weak in terms of Bitcoin's gravity, but we always see a reassessment of this position, so that could be quite interesting, something to keep your eye on. And when we look at SYN, it's just weaker than Bitcoin's gravity at the current time. ZBC is moving up strongly, but this is a thinly traded crypto. Just keep that in mind. KDA is a little bit weaker than Bitcoin's gravity, but we're seeing a lot of this at the moment. LDO, weaker than Bitcoin's gravity at the current time. Aave, just in alignment, just a little bit weaker, just turning out to be a bit weaker. MakerDAO, doing quite nicely. We can see an improvement in strength. And Injective Protocol, doing really well. I just wanted to raise this one for you. One thing that you might like to keep in mind, the federal balance sheet, or the Fed's balance sheet, has actually dropped off a bit of a cliff. It's now currently 8.759 trillion. And we can see the 10-year break-even inflation rate and the 5-year all come down. So the Fed's policies of demand destruction are definitely working. The Nasdaq has taken out its previous close, but Bitcoin is still remaining strong. It's also good to keep in mind that when we have presidential midterm elections, towards the end of the year generally has a rally, and we always tend to have the Santa Claus rally as well. As crypto technical analysts, we're always seeking to implement Rule 359, be on the right side of the percentage. You can be on the wrong side of the trade, but on the right side of the percentage, and you'll do very well. When fear is put in charge of your decision-making process for buys and sells, it will actually manifest the fear that you have. That's why, to kill fear and replace it with courage, we focus as a community on positive excellence, which also creates, as a byproduct, and it's quite a nice one, sustainable fulfillment, meaning happiness and success. We talked recently about empathy. Empathy is the doorway to integrity. Integrity is a very, very important thing to have. When people have empathy, they place a higher value on relationships than they do on money. And this is really important to understand because as a communal species, we all need to work with each other. Wabi Sabi said, money can be a very powerful tool. A lot of people talk about making the world a better place. Wabi Sabi said, empathy can help make the world a better place. It leads to kindness, as the kind members of this community have done by contributing to the Masterclass Scholarship Program have shown. Very nice, Wabi Sabi. Divine Art shared something really beautiful. When it comes to empathy, we all have a wounded child within us. And understanding that others have also been wounded is very, very beneficial, and that's what empathy is all about. And when we hold empathy for ourselves, we can reflect that empathy outwards towards others. Thank you, Divine Art. Thank you also to Dan for your comment. Employing empathy removes the necessity to always be right. An ability to see, feel, and imagine things from multiple angles could be thought as of a precursor to empathy. Thanks so much, Dan. That's really insightful. And to Oscar, thank you, my friend. Empathizing with others means minding their interests. You can see how empathy and integrity must belong together. People inside Zone 1 and Zone 2 feel that the world is against them, that they have to literally fight to exist. This is not the case, although it is definitely espoused in many movies and in popular culture as well. Instead, in Zone 3 and Zone 4, we have an abundance mindset where our interests, even if they clash with another's, doesn't invalidate the other's interests. And thank you also to Flamingo. Empathy is when you have the ability to feel what another sentient being is going through. For example, a person with empathy would never shame, embarrass, or make another person feel guilty. They wouldn't steal or sell someone a lemon of a car that didn't work. A person with empathy understands if someone is going through a depression or a hard time, and as a result, they offer support and understanding because they know what it feels like. Having empathy is a beautiful thing, and it's much needed in this world. Thank you, Flamingo. And it comes back to what Oscar was saying. When you guard the needs of others and you don't necessarily worry too much because you're looking at life from an abundance mindset. In Zone 1 and Zone 2, there's enormous competition. In Zone 1 and Zone 2, people have to literally win because somebody else loses. We wouldn't even consider that concept in Zone 3 and Zone 4. There's nothing but abundance in this world. And as soon as people see that abundance thinking, they can transition out of Zone 1 and Zone 2 into Zone 3 and Zone 4. And hey, that's where the fun is. And Art, thank you for your very kind words. and deep thinking as always. Empathy requires us not just to sympathize, but to actually listen to what another person is experiencing and help to find a solution out of the situation. Without integrity, we cannot do this effectively because we'll be in competition, not cooperation. In Zones 1 and Zones 2, cooperation dominates. That's why it's the lose money rule zone. In Zones 3 and Zones 4, it's the cooperative mindset and the learning and abundance mindset as well. It's a completely different way to play the same game. You can just think about it this way. If you're always trying to make somebody else lose for you to win, how could you ever have inner peace or outer peace? If you don't have inner peace, you will suffer anxiety and potentially depression. And if you don't have outer peace, you will consistently be in conflict. And those zones are Zones 1 and Zones 2. You don't want to be up there any longer than you can avoid being there, because they're filled with unhappiness. Art also says we all mess up occasionally, and it takes empathy from others to help get us back on track. Empathy allows us to thrive in our relationships, not just survive. Without empathy, there could be no forgiveness. Very good points, Art. And Tails says, empathy is a key component of being a sentient and intelligent being, able to contextualize things beyond the limits of our own self. It's the holy grail of artificial intelligence. And thank you, Greg, and thank you, Tails. Francisca said, empathy means for me, I see you, I feel you, I hear you, I can understand you. Really beautiful. And John said, empathy is to see the value in others. And Jade said, having empathy significantly improves our relationships. In the comments today, I thought we could talk about the abundance mindset. It's a really important thing to discuss. What does it mean? How do we use it? And what does it bring as benefits? I'd like to thank the kind generosity of the members of our global family who've reached out and bought me a coffee on buymeacoffee.com/CryptoTradingKS. And thank you to Vicente, YT and Oscar, and thank you so much for all your kind comments. I always show the public face of this, but sometimes people send me private comments. I just like to let everybody know that I appreciate you all so very much. Each month I do a special coffee club video just as my way of saying thank you for your kind generosity. We tend to cover a different rule each and every coffee club video that I put out each month, and number 15 is coming up, which will be very, very interesting. I've been doing a lot of background research and a lot of playing with Google Maps as well. I want to seek to bring some very, very deep knowledge about what's happening between Russia and Ukraine and what it involves with NATO as well. This is done from a politically neutral stance. I believe after this particular video, you won't look at the conflict between Russia and Ukraine in the same way. I have literally spent an entire week researching and putting this one together. Every day we read through the CTKS Creed. That's all about priming your mindset into Zone 3 and Zone 4. And we go through the different crypto sectors looking for opportunities. The CTKS Creed is a series of positive affirmations that you just say to yourself each day. And these affirmations are all about getting rid of fear and installing courage instead as the decision maker. I know the universe wants me to succeed. Every day I show kindness, integrity, and gratitude. I know opportunities in life reset daily. I am worthy. I go slow to go fast. I start small and scale with BORSOG. Life pullbacks give me the strength for the next life rally. I am dedicated and committed. I win or learn and never blame. If you have friends or family who could benefit from positive excellence and what we do together each and every day, 7 days a week, please introduce them to the community by sharing a video. We'd love to see them here. We have one of the best communities on YouTube. Please remember, crypto is volatile. Always prepare yourself for the best and worst case scenarios. Reality will likely be between them. Stay safe out there, my friends. Take care and see you next time. Bye for now.